European time 9:30. So this is the last advisory board. The invitation was already sent out. I will do the reminder in the next few days, let's say. This is for the advisory board, and we already prepared the last process survey, which will be launched in a few days, 2-3 days, just after, let's say, next week, just after the meeting. And we will do also a short survey on this last partnership meeting. This is more or less regarding the quality assurance, everything.
So in terms of what remains to be done, one of those elements then is that we need the final meeting of the advisory board.
Yes.
Which will be helpful to see their view. So I'm just making a note of that. And
so the final advisory board is 12th of July.
Yeah.
And I will do the minutes the weekend, and on the 15th of July, you will have the final internal report on the quality assurance. And also the Trello materials will be set up the latest at that time.
Okay, so I've got a question about Alice's report. So when is that actually due? So some of the comments that Alice has made, and Jan might go into a little bit more detail on some of our responses to that, sort of preclude us having had our final meeting. So there's some information that Alice is asking for, which, to be honest, we've not been in a position to collate until now because the work hasn't been done. So I thought that the external evaluator's report wasn't due until after the end of the project. Am I not right?
Let's say now, for the external quality assurance in the new generation of the program, new generation of capacity building, it is requested that the external quality assurance is done at least two months before the end of the project. Okay. But for the previous capacity building, there was no deadline, and it was always expected in the last months of the project. And regarding the finance issue, because this is a subcontracting, Alice also already issued the invoice, and it will be paid before 14th of July.
Okay, it's just can I just then pass over before we move to Alice, or maybe move on to Alice, if that's okay with you, Nada?
Yeah.
Can I? Because there's a couple of points that Jan's picked up in the report, because she's read that for us, which I think we'd just like to highlight. There's one or two things that I think are around things that we've actually done, but as part of the final meeting, but also other elements which we just want to say. I think there's a recommendation, for example, that we have a card on Pemimpin, where as much as possible in Trello, we're following the project outputs. So we're trying to really follow the structure of that, so that it really matches what we're going to be reporting in the final report. So we just wanted to explain that. I'll pass over to Jan.
Hi. It was, the main ones were really in relation to Pemimpin, in terms of some of the recommendations. Because one of the recommendations is that we have the legal documentation on the in Trello. That is there. It's been there for quite a while. It's in 2.1e. So all the legal documentation's there, the constitution, the structure, There's also a business plan in there that's been uploaded just this week, because that's one of the recommendations as well. And as David was saying, we've not put in a particular card for Pemimpin, but the activities, a lot of the activities are listed under 2.2e, including the breakfast seminars and the network activities. And in each of the institution, partner institutions folders, there are activities there that they've done for Pemimpin. So it is quite well documented in there, while not having a separate one. So it's just really to make clear that the information was there, and that the information is there in English and Bahasa as well. I think that was mainly the other thing. There is a development plan in there, and there's an overview document. So that was the main thing. The other things around the staff training and participants, a lot of that we're doing at the moment. So we can take on board some of the comments there around having an overview of numbers, which we're doing because we're cross-checking between the institutions and the centralised information. I think that's the main thing, really. It was really around Pemimpin, and that a lot of that is post the project as well. But there is information there that looks at its projection, and it's a little bit around sustainability, and we'll be talking a bit about that later on. So Alice, I don't know if there's anything you want to come back to me on those things.
Well, thank you, Jen. Maybe one thing, well, I do believe that the project is really successful, and you have created very important and impactful program, and the network is also very good in place. The recommendations are more to increase the visibility for evaluators that are coming from outside. For example, for me, and I do follow the Trello since the beginning of the project, still it was very hard to see where the material on Pemimpin was. And as you said that the main documents are already in Trello, one idea just came to my head, if it would be possible to highlight them maybe in one color, like blue or green or something, so that, you know, you do not change, you don't create a special label just for Pemimpin, but somehow that an evaluator can associate this material with Pemimpin, because I'm sure they are going to search for evidence, and it's going to be hard for them to find it, as it was for me also.
I agree with you, Alice. Definitely agree with you on that. It is difficult. We have looked at colour coding. We can't do it on Trello. But what we're doing is looking at the labelling so that we have it labelled clearly as Pemimpin, and then what it is afterwards. So we will go through that anyway. But also, David's producing the final kind of audit sheet, and with each of those there is a link to the specific card. So that will make it easier for the internal auditor. And we're doing a mapping at the moment as well, as more information gets put in. So hopefully we will make it as easy as possible for anybody who doesn't know Trello and doesn't know the project to actually find things, because I think I agree it's difficult sometimes to find stuff.
The other thing just to note, Alice, is that with the final reporting, what we actually submit is a table where we will have a link to the particular card. So, or did you just say that? Okay, so it will just be click and they go straight through.
Okay. David, maybe what was pointed out by Alice and now respondent, last year I finished also one big project, Metuyah, in the capacity building, and our project officer didn't want that we are giving the links on the Trello. It was said that the Trello is internal management tool, and they are looking on the Trello just to see let's say, the communication it was going on and so on. They wanted to have a separate Google Drive with the links. So the Google Drives with only with the final documents.
Okay, we're going to sort that out ourselves, Nada, with Carolina. So Carolina has accepted this in the past, and she's also tried for the Google Drive route before. She didn't quite like that particular either. So what we are doing is preparing it as if it was going to be on Trello, and then we will make sure that whatever she wants, she gets. It may not be either Google Drive or Trello. So, but we need it structured. Whatever it will be, we will structure it in the way that we will. One of the things that we're very clearly trying to do is make sure that what is on Trello is final documentation for the particular output that we're looking at. But we're just liaise with Carolina.
Okay.
So one question, David, would it make sense that now we go again through the recommendations by the external evaluator, the ones that weren't responded until now, just to check how the progress is, or it's the time is very not enough time?
Well, we want to finish the meeting by 3 o'clock our time, so you've got about 30 minutes.
That is a lot of time. Okay, if I may, because I do believe that these recommendations will help with the final presentation of the project results. First of all, please know that I'm very impressed by the results that you have achieved and by the deliverables and by the great cooperation. That is really an example of good practice, because you are flexible and ready to communicate openly with each other and transparently, and I think this is very positive. Now I will just present these recommendations not as negative element, but trying to make the results that you already have more organized and more visible for people that come from outside and don't know the project. So what would be very important, maybe I'm going through the main recommendations. So I read through your reports and the quarterly progress reports, and there you have the number of participants that were part in the training, and it would be very helpful if you would create a table with all numbers of participants from each institution and the number of participants from outside the partner institutions.
Alice, that has been done.
Has been done?
Yes.
It's on Trello?
It is now on Trello.
Okay, it's now on Trello. Fantastic.
This is the sort of thing that we can't. This is why I was asking about when your report should come in, because in some respects I think it's a little bit premature, because this is work that we could only do at the final project meeting. So we actually did that of our own accord yesterday. So we'll say that we responded positively to your report, but we didn't read your report till last night.
Okay. That was good synchronization then. Okay, that's good if the results are on Trello, and I'm also happier to write the report a bit later, because right now I have many other reports to write, I know. And it's good. Too much.
Go on. Next one.
Okay. Okay, next one. Such a table should also be created regarding the staff training workshops if necessary. I see that Ilias University created a questionnaire for evaluating the trainings, and it is recommended to post the questionnaire online on Trello, even if it's just in Bahasa, because some of the words are also in English, I looked through Pemimpin website, and there are many words in English like impact or project, and I thought, I understand Bahasa. No, but it would be good because one key element is that the training is received positively, and this sustains also the idea for accreditation and certification. So the questionnaire, and if you have responses, they can also be put in Trello. Okay.
Okay, so I think we're just trying to locate where that report is. Where is the report so we can tell? We've seen a lot of evaluation reports from, in particular, I can remember from the pilot. We're just trying to look at where the evaluations have come. So, just take Hannes, you've done evaluation reports for all of your implementation, right? So, it went through Pemimpin, right? Where is that posted?
The feedback survey?
Yeah.
It hasn't been posted yet.
Why
because
not?
What I have is only the raw data from the Google form, the survey.
So you have the raw data, but the analysis hasn't been done?
Yes.
Okay, so can we make sure that that is posted, so that becomes an action for us?
In 3A, if I'm not mistaken?
In 3A, 2.3A.
2.3.
Ooh, 2.3.
3A.
No. Under, sorry, on 2.3E, there's one at the top, the implementation summary date.
2.3.
Who's been that posted by?
David,
So
maybe
just looking on, I'm looking on Trello, and under Work Package 3, QA evaluation reports on activities, there are some there on the evaluation of Train the Trainers workshop and the evaluation of the staff training workshop. So it could be that we put them there. I don't know. That Nada, that's your area. So
yeah, I forget before to say that, let's say, some of the activities, it was said that they are going to be done directly by the Indonesian partners because we're in Bahasa. For example, at the beginning, we were following, as you said, train the trainers. We did the quite, let's say, a wide evaluation, and we followed the first implementation because it was in English. Later on, so it is also missing in my internal report. I put here just the note on my paper that we have to include also a little bit about the evaluation that was done directly by Indonesian partner. At that time, they were talking that this is done by Pemimpin. So, for example, one of the huge, let's say, packages is about the evaluations of the 13 cohorts.
So, okay, look, in 2.3F, evaluation and refinement of staff training workshops and leadership and management networks and program documentation and materials, that is where I think it should go. So, Chris, are you the person who's got that?
I happen to have that, but I'm not the one who...
Who is it? Who's in charge of it?
It's supposed to be the pemimpin, the one in quality assurance. If I'm not mistaken, it's Bu Esti and Pa Ari, but both of them is not.
Okay, so, but that person isn't on this project. Who within the project, within iHighLead,
UII?
so who is it who, within the project who's going to take responsibility for it? So what I'm going to ask them to do is to liaise with NADA to make sure that that reporting is done. Okay? But it needs to be somebody within the High Lead project. So who is that?
In charge with the evaluation.
At the time Ilya, at the time when I was in Indonesia last year in August, when we had the meeting at your university, it was said that for the quality assurance, because we discussed these implementations of the certain cohorts, and then the evaluation is done by the quality assurance board of the PENIMPIN.
But NADA, the people who are doing that are not actually part of the iHighLead
Yeah,
project.
yeah.
So who is going to take responsibility here is what I'm just trying to pin down in the room. I'm looking at people seriously.
And then is missing also the evaluation of the final conference.
That should be posted by NITA. We've already asked for it, and a report with that. So that's already an action against that item within the dissemination work package. So one thing you need to do, make sure, NITA, is that that evaluation summary goes to NADA. I think you've already got a deadline of next week against that, right?
Before 15.
Look, I need a quick decision on this because we're running out of time. So who's going to take responsibility for it? Okay, I'm really just about to just give this to somebody at random. Okay, I'm going to give it to UII. It's going to go to Ilya because he's the lead for that work package. Okay, and UII is the lead for the work package. So I want that. I need that. When do you need it, Nada? You're on mute.
15th of July is the deadline.
Okay. No, fits UAD. Okay, so I want the evaluations on Trello by the 12th of July. And then we need to make sure that that's been picked up, also sent to Nada, so that she can actually deal with the final quality work, okay? Okay, well, I'm just going to put it to Ilya because he's the lead for that. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let's move on then. Next.
Okay, next point. I saw, and this is a very positive element, that some projects of change that you developed during the training were presented during the final conference national symposium in May, if I'm not mistaken. But is it possible, or a recommendation would be that you create, so each institution creates a list with the projects of change, the titles created during their trainings.
Okay,
I think that
that's something that we have, and they are probably more clearly labelled than they were. They weren't all there, to be honest, yesterday morning. So this is, we are pretty confident they're there for at least 6 out of the 7 institutions. They're just chucking through the 7th at the moment, Alice. So they are there under the list 2.3E, I think it is. Yeah. There's a list 2.3E, there's an institutional card for each institution. Within there you can see all of the case studies, or there's a list of case studies within each. So we've made sure that's there. So good, yes, we've ticked that one.
Fantastic. That sounds very good. So moving on to Pemimpin, through the discussions during the advisory board meetings, it became clear that the accreditation process will be quite long. I don't know how, where are you right now with the accreditation process, but it would be good to still post in Trello the newest documentation that you have regarding the evidence that accreditation will be given to Pemimpin, even if it takes longer. I don't know if you already have done that.
One, the volume of documentation would be too great, Alice. It is ISO and it's folders thick. So we're not planning to put that in. Two, I'm not sure it's necessary to demonstrate and Nada may disagree with me, to demonstrate that we've met the project outcomes. So the project is asked to set up a program. It is also asked to set up a network. We've done both of those things and we can demonstrate their operation. It is a sustainability issue, what sort of accreditation we have. To update you on where we are, there's people working in another room with CAN at this very moment to make sure that the documentation is submitted within the next 48 hours. So before the end of the project, their application for accreditation should have been submitted. So we'll be able to say that. And the CAN people that we've spoken to over lunch seem to be quite positive. We were not going to propose to attach all of that documentation because of the volume. What we will do is in the narrative of the narrative document, as we submit that, we will be very clear on where the accreditation has got to and what else needs to be done and what the rest of the process is and how long it would take. But there's really good progress that's been made. It's not quite where we would want it to be. But this is often the way with these, projects of this sort of length. If we'd had another 6 months on the project, maybe we could have got it. But in many ways, we didn't know what the timescales were going to be. So I think we're going to politely say we don't want to post all that material because it'd just be too much.
Okay, that is very helpful to know. The next point is Pemimpin will be able to issue certificates of participation, and I am just wondering, have you already started to do that? And if yes, can you post a template of the certificate?
No, it doesn't have until it's accredited, it cannot do certification. So, no, is the answer. We can't do that.
Okay, that clears things, or makes things more clear. Okay, now a positive element that I noticed is that the Pemimpin website has the training material posted in Bahasa, which I would like to highlight as a good practice. And maybe you can also just post the link of Pemimpin in Trello as such or highlight it somewhere. Surely it's already been highlighted. I found it in the reports.
Okay, yeah, all of the material is on Trello in Bahasa, but also it's on the website. So the website has the English and the Bahasa versions.
Okay, this is very positive. Um, okay, what would be the next point? What the next points we already discussed regarding creating a card on Trello for Pemimpin, so it's not necessary. And the other points, 3 points regarding Pemimpin have been discussed earlier. Now we have 2 or 3 more points to discuss. The first one is the quality of cooperation. And as I said at the beginning, this is very high and it's very positive. So I'm not going to make any recommendations here, just to keep up the way you cooperate right now. Regarding impact and dissemination, this is the second of the 3 points. Dissemination activities have been summed up in a report. I saw that Valerie created it, and you, David, mentioned today that this is also work in progress, that you've done this during the meeting. What can be observed, or what I can observe here, is that the Ministry of Education could take on a more active and prominent role regarding the dissemination, impact, and also sustainability issues of the iHalit project. I don't know how what's happening here.
I think we'd agree with you.
Okay.
But how we actually act on that is very difficult. We haven't had ministry representation here at the meeting. They pulled out less than 24 hours before. And there's very little we can do about that. Given we've just had an election and most of the staff at the ministry have just changed, it's very difficult for us to build those relationships. And we have had some contact. We have had some support, but we haven't been able to have a discussion in the way that we might like to. I think we just have to accept it for it is. I think your recommendation stands. We will try in the final days of the project to influence, but in reality, I don't think there's much we're going to be able to do in the next 10 days or so. So we will continue trying, but it's actually something that getting the engagement of these people is actually going to be something that's going to have to happen over the next 6 months, not over the next 6 days.
Okay, I understand. Yes, what has been built in 3 years cannot be topped now in like 6 days too.
Well, I mean, I think the issue is you have to remember the nature of ministries of education. People move posts, and actually politicians move posts very frequently. So there is always, within a project of this length, an issue that you are not going to be starting and finishing the project with the same people. And so part of the issue with working with the ministry is always that we have to keep on building and then rebuilding relationships. And relationships aren't built over days, they're built over months. And we've just had a recent change of government. And, you know, in the last month or so, and people have changed posts. So in May, we had support from the government, from people who'd just come into post, but we've not had much since. And, you know, that's something that we have to try to deal with, but it's very difficult to deal with.
Okay, I understand, and I see the situation, and this is why you deserve once more congratulations that you managed to create all the important structures of this project to make it run and be sustainable, even with lesser support from the ministry as promised at the beginning. So what would I still like to suggest regarding the ministry? If it would be possible to just suggest to the ministry that it could offer support with the dissemination of training events, or support with gaining additional participants from non-partner university maybe post on the ministry's website news about training events from Pemimpin if possible, or maybe even a link to Pemimpin. This shouldn't be very complicated, I believe, if the ministry website would agree.
I doubt you're going to get something on the ministry website, to be honest, Alice, because it might be simple for you, but the bureaucracy around that will be quite difficult for them. I think what we would be campaigning for is for them to continue considering having a school of leadership for higher education affiliated to the ministry, and for the Pemimpin to be the preferred partner in that. So we have very clear ideas about what how sustainability might be produced, but across the partnership there's actually other ways in which the outputs might be sustained, which may be less associated with the ministry, but may be more about the LL-DICTI, which are the regional leads for private universities, for example, and that might well be where it gets subsumed. So I think there's all sorts of avenues we can seek for sustainability. We can ask, but I don't think we'll get anything on their website.
Okay, okay. Maybe they would just have like a small niche there somewhere with information from partner institutions or from important organizations. I don't know. I don't know how the ministry website in Indonesia would react, but still. So you mentioned
Alice, David, does the ministry on the website has the promoting their school of the leadership?
Since they don't have one yet, not yet.
Not yet.
But
Because
the other thing
in
is,
this,
don't forget we're dealing with more than one part of the ministry. We have two parts of the ministry that we're dealing with higher education, and it's there's the one which is for the higher status universities, and there's one that deals with mostly vets, polytechnics. The vet polytechnic one, certainly at certain points throughout the project, has been pushing for a school of leadership for the polytechnics, and we've had them to Gloucestershire, we've had them elsewhere, but of course people have changed, and so every time somebody changes, the agenda might still be there, but it's gone quiet. So we need to keep on the communication open. Having Pemimpin there would be the common sense route for them to go forward. So the problem at the moment is getting any communication from the ministry, to be frank.
okay, I see.
Regarding the visibility, maybe it's good that also to check, maybe you checked already in the dissemination part, that each of the partner without the ministry has on their website the link to the project website and to the Pemimpin website.
Nita, is that the case?
It means that the ministry website should link to the Pemimpin and IHILIT?
No, the specific
No, let's leave the ministry out. Okay, not the ministry. Your website, the partners institution, do they have the link to the IHILIT project and to the Pemimpin? I think that this has to be assured.
The website of DICTI must be linked with the Pemimpin.
Nita,
My
no.
website, IHILIT.
So
Yes,
is there a link to the project website from every partner website?
Yes, already. I think there is our website already linked. in the beginning of the partners, we put the dictee on this pemimpin. We have this one on. Loh, kok hilang?
I think the answer is yes.
The previous one we have pemimpin here, but I don't know where it is. Yeah.
The long way of doing this would be go around the room and ask everybody if they've got the links. I'm just looking around the rooms, and I think, so Ernest, you've got those links, right, on your website? Yes?
Yeah,
UAD, you've got those links on your website.
David, if the answer is yes, so they have to send it to you, and you will include this in the dissemination report.
Okay, well, they send it to Nita because she's writing the dissemination report.
Okay.
So, Nita, we need to make sure that there is evidence of that every partner website has a link to iHighLead and Pemimpin.
Yeah.
Okay, next, Alice.
Okay, so the next point is probably also the last point, and this is that, well, for the sustainability, it would be good to discuss and make available, maybe you already have, milestones for achieving the sustainable development of Pemimpin as a structure for implementing the training after the project ends. I guess this is the last one.
I think that's a fair point, Alice. It's not obvious from what you've got in Trello. There is a clear deadline, and I will write that into the narrative that we have for the evaluator. So I know what it is, but Pemimpin we've in our view, we've done what the project brief asked us to do, which is to set up Pemimpin, okay? And we have set it up. It is a legal entity. The documents are all there. It is operating. In terms of sustainability story, yes, accreditation is very important, but in terms of, we don't have to evidence that. Often you're talking about what the future sustainability will be, so we don't have to provide evidence, but we will write very clearly about what the timeline is in the documentation when for the evaluator.
Okay, thank you very much. This was the last point, and I would also like to highlight, like Nada said, that it would have been nice to see you in person again and say congratulations in person for a very successful project, and hopefully you are going to get a very high score on the final evaluation, and have a nice further meeting.
Thank you, Alice. That's really helpful, and thank you for all your efforts and your work and being there along the way whilst we've been going through the project. Remembering that we started during COVID, and that we've gone through quite a lot of trials and tribulations, but overall the project's been really positive. So thank you very much.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Okay, so just I think one thing that needs to come out of that, in addition, just noting, is for Nita just to make sure that in the final report there's evidence of those links from university websites through to the partner university websites through to iHighLead and Pemimpin. Great. Nada, is there any last comments that you'd like to make?
No, everything is okay.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to end the quality section, and that actually brings us to the end of of all of the work for the meeting. What I want to do in the 25 minutes that we've got left is just to within the room just go through the action points and just clear up 1 or 2 points with Rodrigo and Jan on their progress. So what I want to do now then is I want to share on the screen the actions, and we can just go through that. So if we can then just bear with us for another 20 minutes, and then we'll call a close to the meeting and almost the project, but not quite. Okay, can we have the full screen in the room, please, of what I'm sharing? Can we spotlight what I'm sharing, the document that I'm sharing, please? Perfect, thank you. So, could I have everybody's attention, please? Okay, so Jan, Rodrigo, if you're feeding back to people, do that when we get to that point, okay? Because I want everybody's attention on this. Okay, so 1A, we all will need to fill in our last quarterly report and post it to Trello by the 26th of July. Okay, that is when I want the last quarterly report. That is your final quarterly report. Any financial information needs to be submitted as soon as possible and before that, so your timesheets. Okay. If I just say to you, overnight I received an email from our project coordinator at Erasmus, and they are asking us for preliminary financial reporting already. Okay? So the sooner you can get all of your expenses in, all of your boarding passes, for those of us who need boarding passes, everything else in, as soon as we can get that in, please get it in. All partners will check to see if they've used the book budget of €750. Let's not let that slip away. Okay, moving down, just looking for the things in red. Okay, 2.3D. Jan? Rodrigo? All partners to check that material is added to 2.3E mentoring section as per the instructions below. Okay, so can I ask, so all partners have got most of the material. Is there anything outstanding?
There are one or two things that are outstanding. Okay. There are one or two things that are outstanding. That it's not that they're missing completely. It's that they just need uploading, and people know what that is, and they're working on it now.
So it will be done before 3 o'clock?
Yeah, most of it is actually done. We've got only one or two things that are missing.
Right. So I'm really keen that we don't leave anything just outstanding. Okay, so can I just check for right. just so we can move on, what are we left? So has UII got everything?
No, we're sorting out with UII.
What are we sorting?
He's just taken my list.
Oh, okay. So UII, I was using that. UAD,
Sorted.
UAD is complete.
Yeah.
Bruajaya,
We think that's complete, but I just need a second check because they've just uploaded some stuff.
so I'll say complete.
Yeah.
Yeah? Sti,
See, we're just waiting for an overview, that's it.
is that being written at the moment?
Yeah.
Nita, is that overview being written at the moment? Pardon?
She knows she's doing it.
Yeah, because it needs to go up now before the meeting ends. How can it be being done then? Okay, fine. Ernest,
Chris has just done it. Excellent.
complete.
That's complete. It was complete. We just needed something transferring.
Okay, what else have we got?
Through. I think that's okay.
Prue done?
Rodrigo.
Rodrigo.
Is Prue done?
Only one more thing.
One more thing. Umpad's done. Umpad's done.
There's one more thing.
Yeah.
Register.
Register.
for
We just want to register.
For UMPAD.
No, Umpad's done.
Approves a register.
Blue is registered.
That's it.
And UII got a couple of things to do, right?
Yes, it's part of the register.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so pretty much all of that is done, and it will be done by the end of the meeting. Yeah? Anything that isn't done by 10 to 3, we need to put in here. Okay. The mentors between us, that includes you, Nado, if you're still on the call. We just need to have a summary report. I will do that. I was waiting for a couple of the reports to be added to the template so that we can create that. I will do that over the coming days. 2F. Jan, can I have 3F? So it's got evaluation and refinement of staff training workshops and leadership management networks and program. We've got quality evaluation of implementation cohorts to be completed and provided to NADA. That's what we've just talked about. So that needs to be done. Don't worry. Sorry. Okay. So UII. You need to make sure this is communicated to Ilya, because he's not here, and that the deadline is hard. Yeah? So, because that needs to go to Nada so she can complete her report by the 15th. Okay? So, really big urgent, really. Okay, thank you. And if somebody's doing it in Pemimpin somewhere, well, it should be okay because we can just tell them to do it, right? But there's a push to get that done. Okay. Nado, I think this is correct that we need to complete the final process quality surveys that will go out, as you said, soon. Survey feedback from participants will be provided, and implementation. We've already got that under Ilya. That was originally under a FIT and SD, Ari and Chris. So let's delete that. Let's move down to 3D, liaise with external evaluators to produce periodic evaluation reports, blah, blah, blah. What should I put there against 3D, Nada? Is it complete? Because we've got Alice's report. We can't hear you, Nada.
It will be completed. It will be completed on the 15th. Everything, no.
Okay, so if I just put
It's still, let's say, we will add something and so on if needed, but the final version you are going to receive on the 15th. It's correct, Alice, also?
Well, I might need more time because right now I am also quite sick. I cannot work efficiently as normally. But David said that the final report for this round of capacity building should be done after the project ends, so that would suit me best.
Okay.
Okay, so but we can finish our
The internal will be done, let's say, by the end of the project. At least it will have the date 14, okay? And also your date, Alice, it has to be 14 and not over the date. On the document, put just July.
Okay.
Because the project finishes on the 14th. That's
Yes.
the last day of the project. So it needs to be, in effect, any work on the project needs to be done by the end. So whenever you give it to us, because we've seen the draft, right? And to be honest, you're not going to change much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could go in pretty much as it is, if you like, but taking account of what we've said today, maybe a little bit. And so just put the 14th on, and if it comes a week later, it doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we move down to 4. So 4C, create a project website. There's a number of actions there for STI, which have come from our review of the website with Valeri today. All partner websites to link. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so only 3 of your... Can I have everybody's attention? Only 3 of your websites refer to our project and to our websites. STI do, yeah. President does. UII does. UAD, etc. don't. So that needs to be reviewed and sorted, I think. Okay, so that remains the same. So all partner websites to be linked. Yeah. Okay, produce testimonials. So all partners to put remaining activities of dissemination info into the system by the end of Monday. Short report summarising the dissemination activity to be produced by the 11th, and reorganising of the content of 4D to match reporting structure to be done by the 11th. And then we've got the breakfast seminar for senior management teams. This is actually the May conference, so we need it's been done, we need the publicity material, the agenda, the register, the presentations and evaluations submitted. And then, is that your glasses? And then 4F, we need the trainers to happen next week for non-partner institutions. We've discussed that at length earlier. And then we've got this cross-delivery network. We've agreed that Pemimpin will run 1 hour online catch-ups for the trainers on the 10th of July, 9th of October, 8th of January, and the 9th of April. Okay. That is going to be posted immediately onto this meetings card on the project meetings. Is there anything else that anybody wants to raise before we will close the meeting in 3 minutes, if not?
Could you please go up again, the first one, on the report, budgeting report?
Which one?
The very first number. Yeah, this one. When shall we submit the financial report on Trello?
You need to put the quarterly report,
Yeah.
which
yes.
is our reporting on what we've done.
Yes.
You need to put that on Trello as soon as possible after the 14th.
After the 14th.
Yeah.
Okay.
But by the very latest, the 26th, all of your financial reporting needs to be into Todd before the 26th. Okay? Okay?
Yeah, one more. I told you that the number of projects from UAD is only 9, but it's actually 17. It's just because we haven't uploaded all of the projects in 2.e. So I have already uploaded the list of clients and list of projects in 2.3e 17. I already renamed the file. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Excellent. Okay. You guys, can we just go back to 2.3? E. What's that?
Very little. So we're just waiting for a few things from UIA.
Yes.
Have a list of what they are.
They know.
Yeah.
But I don't, the project doesn't.
Well, I
Yeah.
do, and I'm
It's just,
checking. I've got a list, and I'm checking.
Okay. Do you want to add this to that?
I can add it to that. So we've only got a few things, and it's in process. We've just got one thing that is now going to be uploaded from Brew, one thing that's going to be uploaded from Prue, Barney McGrew, and one thing from Steve. That's it.
Okay. What's coming from the group?
Just one thing.
What?
I've got it all.
You could, just let me write it here and it will be done.
It's a register.
And then we've got one thing from the group, which is a register. Yeah. Steve over here.
Oh yeah, Brew is an agenda. Brew is another agenda. Brew is an agenda. Brew is the register. Steve is an the data's there.
Okay, we've got a note of those things. Pretty much everything against 2.3D, E, F, whatever they are done. So thank you very much, because that was a really lot of hard work to make sure that was done. Can I just say, this is the end of the project. I think we should celebrate it. Chris, no need to cry. We should be cheering. Thank you very much for your hard work. I think what we've done is really, really positive, and I really am hoping and praying that the hard work will be sustained through Pemimpin, and that Pemimpin will go from strength to strength in the future. And I think that is something, that would be great for Indonesia. And you, as the Indonesian partners, will have been the leaders of it. And I think you should just reflect for a moment on how you have contributed as good citizens to your higher education sector, and actually you have taken leadership roles. And so please give yourselves a round of applause. We will join in with that. University of Gloucestershire, University of Granada, ISSBS in Slovenia. I know that all of us would be really happy to work with any of you again. I think we are already talking to various people about what we might do in the future. Of course, UOG can't do all CBHE funded projects anymore, but certainly I'm appearing on some by working with other people. But there's other European funding and other funding that is not attached to Europe at all that we can always work with. So very much look forward to working with you again in future, and look forward to continuing our relationships. Thank you very much. Rodrigo, do you want to say anything? No. On that case, I will close the meeting and almost the end of the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Bu Ulaya, I think it's time to wrap up and to have a closing statement from UAD, and then after that the participants can leave.
Bye. Have a nice time in Indonesia. Bye.
Bye-bye, Nada.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Oh ya, mungkin habis closing ya. Atau gini, David, can we talk in bahasa to discuss? Oke. Bapak Ibu, ini kan masih ada beberapa PR kita, nggih, baik yang pemimpin maupun kita sendiri masing-masing. Nah, yang paling besar adalah ada dua. Mungkin saya mulai dari yang kecil dulu. Yang pertama adalah PIC STI Malangkuceswara dan pemimpin itu untuk membuat Zoom meeting, mengundang semua trainers yang ada di kita untuk bertemu di tanggal 10 Juli. Kita hanya membutuhkan mungkin foto, kayaknya kalau nggak salah nggak perlu ada register ya, hanya foto dan juga diseminasi. Jadi event itu harus didiseminasikan di entah di website kita dan sebagainya, itu yang akan diupload, diunggah oleh Bu Nita di Trello. Itu mungkin mudah ya. Tanggal 10, kemudian yang lainnya ada tanggal sekian Oktober dan seterusnya ada 4, tapi yang dia akan dilaporkan adalah yang tanggal 10 ini. Kemudian yang kedua, ya tadi sudah mungkin bisa diubah sama David ya setelah, tapi tadi tanggal 10. Kemudian yang kedua adalah yang ini cukup berat adalah training of trainers ya untuk peserta di luar Jawa dan di luar kita, dan itu sebelum tanggal 14, artinya maksimal tanggal 12 ya, hari kerja. Bagaimana rencananya dan sebagainya itu nanti akan disampaikan ke kita lagi oleh UII dan atau UNES sebagai PIC. Cuma tanggung jawab kita sebagai peserta konsorsium adalah mengirimkan peserta sekitar 5 atau 6 iya secara online, berapa harinya dan sebagainya, nanti detailnya UNES atau UI. Cuma kita sendiri harus mempersiapkan peserta itu dari luar Jawa, koneksi network kita atau koneksi kita di luar Jawa bisa kita mulai kontak dari sekarang. Dan itu akan kita berikan datanya pada UI atau UNES. Mungkin itu, dan karena ini sudah akan minggu depan tentu kerja Bandung Bondowoso ya. Nah ini diperlukan segera begitu untuk bisa kami dengarkan lebih lanjut dari UI atau UNES untuk instruksi berikutnya. Mungkin itu ya Bu Nita ya. Dan yang berikutnya adalah yang disampaikan oleh Bu Nita tadi di grup, bagi yang belum mengelingkan website pemimpin dan juga e-highlight di website masing-masing, mohon bisa segera. Untuk UAD sendiri sedang diproses saat ini. UNES juga tadi kayaknya iya. Dan kemudian apalagi Bu Nita. Oh ya, Bu Nita juga sudah mengirimkan link untuk mengirimkan semua data diseminasi kita di tautan tersebut ya. Yang tadi dari data yang sudah ditunjukkan itu masih ada beberapa kampus yang sangat sedikit. Nah itu mungkin bisa segera disusulkan berita-beritanya. Apalagi Bu Nita kayaknya itu nggih. Iya, nggih. Dan lain-lainnya adalah PR kita masing-masing. Mungkin demikian Bu Nita mau disampaikan dari UNES. Cukup, nggih. Dari UII, Bu Mbak Atta. Oke, yang lain mungkin Brawijaya. Ya, Presiden silakan. Apanya? Untuk
yang
instruksi
TOT,
berikutnya.
Untuk yang TOT apa?
Trainer.
Ya, nah itu kayaknya mesti pakai daftar registrasinya. Ini kita ngomong pakai bahasa Indonesia aja ya. Saya berusaha tidak menggunakan bahasa Inggris dengan baik dan benar. Itu apakah kita bisa bermain karena itu kan status iya, itu maksud saya. Apakah bisa kita mengganti nama dan muka jadi sehingga yang terlihat ketika lagi daring itu adalah begitu aja. Jadi daripada kita mencari ini di depan orangnya kita membodong ya, langsung aja saya mah. Itu kira-kira gimana? Karena kan keterbatasan waktu ya. Kita kan sampai tanggal dikasih waktu sampai tanggal berapa?
Sebelum 14.
12 kan?
Ya,
sampai tanggal 12. Sedangkan sekarang kan tanggal 4 gitu. Kira-kira apakah seperti itu kira-kira dimungkinkan nggak oleh Bapak Ibu sekalian gitu? Oh gitu ya. Betul. Iya. Nah, maksud saya gini, kalau memang ini kita mau bermain seperti itu, apakah kita mengundang universitas di luar beneran secara baik dan benar atau mau mengikuti gitu? Itu sih. Oh ya udah balik. Betul. Baik, terima kasih.
Maksudnya karena memang hampir impossible ya untuk melakukan ini dengan cara proper dan honest.
Betul.
Honest jujur ya maksudnya.
Kalau ini sih sebaiknya memang dengan cara yang baik dan benar sih sebenarnya gitu kan.
Cuma masalahnya
saya sih setuju dengan seperti itu. Tapi karena keterbatasan waktu ya mungkin bisa seperti bermain lah gitu.
Iya, oke.
Gitu sih.
Setuju.
Tapi nggak tahu deh. Oh ya ini direkam ya. Aduh.
Nggak apa-apa. Oh ya, Bapak Ibu berarti sudah selesai nggih? Kita oke, baik. Tidak ada lagi masukan. David, David, are you leaving now? Oh, now, okay. Just a very short closing statement from UAD, just to say goodbye to you. Okay, yeah. Bu Ulaya, please, yeah. So I'd like to invite the head of Cooperation Bureau from Universitas Samadanlan, Mrs. Ulaya Diani, please.
Yeah, okay. Thank you everyone for the fruitful discussion and productive workshop for the last 2 days. And I think we have to give ourselves a big applause for this 2 days agenda and also the 3 years project, right? It's a 3.5 project. So, and I'm looking forward for having another collaboration with you all, but hopefully the next project will be much more fun. Yeah, okay, I think that's all for you everyone, and have a safe flight to go your way back home. And David, see you again tomorrow, I think. You will go here, yeah. Unfortunately, I have to see you again tomorrow. That's what you said, right? Ya, oke, Bapak Ibu semuanya, terima kasih banyak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Bu Laya. Oke, bye-bye everyone. Terima kasih banyak Bapak Ibu. Yes, David and Rodrigo, you may leave to UII. Yes.